Morphin Legacy presents The Grid.
Howdy, Ranger Nation. This is Shadow822, Vice President of MorphinLegacy.com, welcoming you to another Grid Retrospective, where we'll be reviewing both seasons of Power Rangers Dino Charge to celebrate Dino Fury and just to mush about Dino Charge, because this is a Dino Charge stand podcast.
You're goddamn right.
Joining me in this retrospective is Austin.
Hi.
And Amber.
What it is, what it do.
So how this will work is that the three of us will roundtable discuss our favorite and least favorite aspects of the season, list our favorite quotes, and then wrap up the discussion by giving our overall thoughts and comparing it to other seasons. So with that,
Let's go ahead and get the shit started.
alrighty, so let's go with our favorite episodes first. So my favorite episode of Dino Charge is Riches and Rags.
Mr. Smith, my debt with you is settled.
So Riches and Rags for me is pretty much on this list because it is legitimately one of the funniest episodes of Dino Charge, if not the entire show. Austin can vouch for this. How many times do we watch Riches and Rags when we're just randomly watching Power Rangers on Netflix?
Bajillion. That's like one of our top cycled episodes.
Let's also be fair, there's so many great episodes this season.
Also true.
We could literally pick out just the couple of bad ones that we don't really like, and then we'd still have over a whole season worth of shows to watch.
Yeah, this list, by the way, was kind of hard to do because we didn't really want to align that much because we all have the same opinions mostly for this season, but we also wanted to make a little different. That's why I limited to 3, and I made sure y'all didn't try to repeat that much.
Also, because we'd be talking all night about every episode, just about if we were didn't have a limit.
The original limit was 5, and then Austin was like, yeah, that's too much, so we limited it down to 3. Because I was thinking, I'm like, okay, so this episode I really like, but what about this episode and this episode? Then I was thinking, okay, maybe Austin has this on their list, and maybe Amber has this on their list. And I was also telling y'all bitches, I'm like, don't pick this episode, because I'm talking about this episode.
It's okay if there's a widow overlap. We just don't want everybody to have exactly the same 3, because that could happen.
So back to Riches and Rags. So Ivan has some breakout moments in this episode, like at the beginning, where he thinks the suit of honor that Kendall got from this dude named Mr. Smith is his training dummy, and he's like,
shady queen.
And also, when he goes to the bank and he tries to get some money.
Welcome to Amber Beach Bank. How may I assist you?
1 bar of gold, please.
Excuse me?
I am Sir Ivan of Xandar, one of the King's Knights.
And I'm the Queen of England. And what can I do for you?
Well, I left a bar of gold in the bank many years ago. I'm here to reclaim it.
Account number?
I don't know.
ID? Something with your name on it.
Ah, yes, of course. There you are. There it is right there. See?
Please, take whatever you want.
Just give me my gold.
That's probably the best scene in that episode.
Also, Tyler and Chase has some hilarious stuff since they're under a spell by Spelldigger's vast treasure.
Yes! I love when they come back in the base. Like, that one little coin comes out, and then they're like, it's mine. It's mine. And then everything, like, falls out of their pockets.
And then the scene where Kendall's all like, so these coins make people greedy. And then Tyler's like, well, it's a good thing it didn't work on us. And they're like just hugging the coins. And I'm like, oh my God. I love this show so much.
What's that quote that Kendall says where she's like,
I'll bet they're made of a lot more than just gold.
I love it. I love it. I love, like, removing glasses for dramatic effect, like in Rocky Horror.
Power Rangers does it a lot too. Like every person that wears glasses has like the ooh moment. Like Miss Fairbrother did it a lot too in Lightspeed. But for some reason, you never see Nate do that though.
I wish.
He's like, Velma, I can't see a thing without my glasses.
I'm baby, I need my glasses. Also, Tyler has a cute and adorable moment in this episode when they're like looking through coins and then just Rexy comes out of nowhere and he like hops on his shoulder and he's like,
What is it, little Rexy?
I wish we would have got more little Rexy moments. Like,
that is the cutest shit ever. Like, oh my gosh. I could just want to bottle that up and like, ugh.
It started the itch that I only got scratched with Baby Yoda stuff. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they could have had their own baby in their hand, Baby Rexy.
I know. Give me that Baby Rexy plush. I'd have been like, wear that shit on my shoulder.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so one last thing about Riches and Rags. I gotta talk about my girl Kendall. She has a very subtle, funny moment this episode.
Ivan, do you think you could find Tyler and Chase for me?
Have I ever let you down, my lady? Okay, maybe once.
I love subtle jokes like that. Like, she didn't even have to say anything, and I'm, like, rolling on the floor.
I mean, low-key, she's, like, one of the funniest characters in the whole show.
That's where Dino Charge exceeds, though, because it's, like, you don't need those, like, derpy-doo comic relief duo characters like Victor and Monty or Ben and Betty. Like, the Rangers in this season are hilarious. Like, Coda and Ivan and everybody. Like, you don't need those characters, and that's what, that's what Beast Morphers and industry had a problem with.
Last time I checked, y'all are hiring actors, so how about you just let them act and maybe act funny? Give them some jokes to tell. I don't know. Call me crazy.
Like, Beast Morphers had Steel. That was enough. Okay, well, that's it for my first pick. What is your first pick, Austin?
My first pick, I think y'all know. It's the 2/3.
Parasaur! Power Ray!
Hey, don't force it, Hotshot.
Thanks. Go ahead.
Next.
Like, I mean, honestly, this is like the gayest episode of Power Rangers ever, like I said last episode, so...
Yeah, 149 we go in depth.
That's why I didn't put it on my list, is because we all been knew that that's like one of our favorite episodes, so let some other people shine.
Girl, just like every 5 seconds, it's just like, because it's like, this was the first indication that like Dino Charge was going to be kind of goofy, because this was like the first like goofy monster they used. What was his name?
Cavity.
But like, they used Cavity and we're like, oh, like they're actually going to like use these monsters that are like goofy and wacky.
I made a list of monsters I didn't think they were going to use for Dino Charge because they were too goofy, and they used every single monster on my list.
I remembered that, and it was such a gag.
I had to update it later on, and like, update, they actually used this monster. Update, they actually used this monster.
You really clowned yourself there.
I mean, like, honestly, straight up clown. Like, Bozo coming out of the car.
You woke up and chose clownery that day.
I get it, I'm a clown. Honk honk.
Don't let me forget to send you a little foam red nose.
Well, on the rare chances when you're wrong, we gotta rub it in, because like that never happened.
Yeah, you're very rarely ever wrong, Pineapple the Clown.
You'll never let me live down forgetting James Navarro.
No.
No, honey.
2/3. This is just 22 minutes of Chase and Riley bickering like an old married couple.
If I was you, I'd use your instincts and adapt, eh? So you're ready for any situation.
Okay, you giving me training advice. Right. I've never seen you train. Not once.
It's punch, punch, kiss, kiss.
I mean, that's my OTP anyway, so I am here to stay.
I'm just like that scene where the cake samples are in the...
Fucking cake samples.
We need to analyze them.
Always love to analyze things. Here, analyze that. Kendall's like, get the fuck out.
Here. Can't skate in here.
And then like obviously the scene at the end, just so homoerotic, and I'm just like,
Chase, I owe you an apology. When I was growing up on my family's ranch, Everyone used to make assumptions about me, and they were mostly wrong ones. I was totally wrong about you, Chase. And I'm sorry.
Oh, did you say something?
No, it was nothing. Never mind.
My crops were watered. My skin cleared up.
Also, let's not forget Curio in this episode. He just wants some cakey.
I want a paste. Oh.
Like, that's a whole ass vibe.
And then he literally, like, jumps into the garbage. I'm like, that's Austin.
That's literally me. I mean, whenever Ryan Murphy makes a new show. But I need a Riley Lightning Collection figure so I can recreate the end of this episode, but actually make them kiss.
I mean, I do just because I want the real heads, but, like, it's not like I don't have figures.
Shit, I just want all the Dino Charge Rangers, period. Make everyone a Lightning Collection figure, even Albert.
I'm just gonna lord it over Austin's head forever and ever and ever until a Lightning Collection Riley comes out that I have the figure arts.
Bitch.
Best money I've ever spent. Just right now, it's paid for itself many times over.
I cry.
And I've sent you so much Charlie art over the years, I think it's made up for it.
That's fair. That's fair. I'll give you that.
Amber, what is your first choice favorite episode?
I'm gonna pick Freaky Fright Day.
It's uncanny. Yeah, you mean creepy. It's like we're related or something, yo. Related. To you.
Do you guys even know what kind of human I am? It's two Ivans, basically. And also just proves that Ivan is canonically the only Power Ranger to have had the sex.
He fucks.
He had the fuck. He did the fucks.
Also, the body swap shenanigans. Love it.
I love it. I just love the whole thing. And also the range, which, you know, we'll go back to, like...
Yeah, Dobby has the range. Like, Zag and Ivan are not at all like each other.
No, like, mannerisms, like, Iris found us, like, a whole-ass actual actor here. Not just, like, someone who looks nice and can kind of act. But I'm not going to go too dwell on that we know. I love it. It's fun. I like the crazy art that Zach does as an artist. I like Riley, like, thinking it's like, oh, are you leaving Chase for this boy now? I mean, you know, have you heard of maybe...
There are some moments where he's like, oh, wow. Does Riley have a thing for Zach?
Here you go, Zach. Come on.
You're helping him.
Oh, come on. Lighten up, Ives. Everyone makes mistakes.
Lime's my favorite.
Oh, good. Mine too.
And I'm sitting there watching, I'm like, I'm not mad about this. This doesn't make me mad. It's just a good episode. Like, it's kind of fun, you know, that old chestnut of, like, identical relative.
It's a parent trap.
Exactly. Like, it's a really old beat-down trope, but it's just kind of a fun thing to do with.
I mean, another old beat-down trope is a body swap trope, which we do every season now, but I'm always here for it.
I love a good body swap.
I just want to see if you do it good. Like, if you do it bad, I'm going to enjoy it. If you do it good, I'm going to love it. Like, I mean, you know, it's fine.
Alrighty, so my number 2 choice, it is from the first season, Wishing for a Hero.
Discover secrets. Find romance with my wish cards.
The penultimate episode of season 1.
That's really interesting.
This episode is a good mix of comedy, plot progression, and build up for the finale and next season. But before we talk about the comedy, let's talk about the plot progression build up. So the episode starts pretty much with Kendall wanting someone to bond with the Purple Energy. So she pretty much plays a damsel in distress. And she's like, someone help me, please. And we get some people to save her. Some people are like, okay, you didn't bond with the Engine because you want money. You're not going to bond with the Engine because you're an Uggo. You're not going to bond with the Engine because you're a bodybuilder who's too much into himself.
He was so hot, though.
Oh, good grief. You know, also, we are introduced to the person that we have been seeing here and there. I mean, we've seen the tentacle, but still. But we are introduced to the person that is in solitary confinement. And it's a twink!
How about I make you a deal? I get you the Purple Energen, and we're partners.
Named Heckle. Which was honestly a surprise the first time we saw him. Like, we knew someone is in that solitary confinement, but we didn't know it was going to be Heckle. And then Sledge is like, girl, you look like a human, so go down there and get me that Purple Energem. He almost gets it, but he doesn't get it, and then Fury gets it, and then Sledge is like, bitch, back to solitaire.
Solitary confinement.
Alright, so let's talk about the comedy. So the main plot of this episode comes from a monster named Wishstar and his wish cards, which has the ability to actually grant wishes, but it ends up sour by the end. So let's talk about the wishes. So Tyler, he wishes for his dad that randomly shows up at the park just to run away the second Tyler sees him.
I mean, that's what he does when there's not a wish involved. So
that's not off-brand for James Navarro because he's good. He just bounces.
There's gonna be a lot of James shit talk in this episode.
Sorry, that's my favorite thing about this season is to shit talk James Navarro.
It's just the tip of the iceberg now. On to Coda, he wishes for food, of course. A tropical burger to breathe beside, which gives him the stummy ache. Oh, my tummy hurts.
My stummy. He says stummy.
It's fucking rude to make anything bad happen to Coda. Like, fuck this guy. Fuck him.
On to Chase. He wishes for a hot gal, of course, who also is a skater gal and a kiwi foil. But to quote Chase,
she broke my heart. Then she broke my skateboard.
On to Riley. He doesn't wish for anything because you know what he was going to wish for. We can't show that on TV.
Jack.
That Jack.
That Jack!
Alright, easy killer. On to Shelby. She wishes for a date with Tyler, which she gets in a sense, but is ruined by shenanigans, like getting soap in her eye, ants on their food, and Papa Navarro coming out of nowhere. Way to go, Buzzkill.
Fucking James Navarro ruining something yet again.
On to Ivan. He wishes for a damsel in distress, because he's Ivan, but doing so fucks his back up, because he's an old man, like me. And lastly, Kendall. She wishes for a hero. She needs a hero. But she ends up getting Heckle, which isn't a bad thing, but it is a bad thing for her.
You know, if I ship that kind of thing, I could ship that.
I'm not against it. They're kind of cute.
I'm here for Kendall. No, I don't know. Hendel? I don't know what the ship name is. Yeah, honestly, great episode. Love it. Love it, love it. Okay, Austin, what is your second favorite episode of Dino Charge?
My second favorite episode is another classic that we always rewatch, Night After Night.
These massive metal beasts could crush you, and yet you rule over them with a mere wave of your hand.
Well,
Sir, I would like you to join with me on my quest.
I've always dreamed of going on a quest.
Sir, your dream is about to come true.
Yeah, that's mine too.
Love it. Love it.
It's too good. It's too good.
This episode is... And you know, I'm someone who always gets nervous when a Sixth Ranger comes in, especially if I really love the cast, like the main five.
It could break the dynamic.
It could. I'm like, are they gonna like throw off the vibe? But this episode, Ivan is like, I'm here and you're gonna love me, and that's it.
And honestly, it doesn't feel the same when you watch episodes before Ivan because it just doesn't feel the same. It breaks the vibe with the episodes before he's introduced.
He really nudged his way into the cast with this episode.
He changed the dynamic, but he made it, I think, better.
He's made it stronger. Oh, yeah.
He cemented it.
Like, it's a different dynamic, but still, like, a really good dynamic. It's not like it's trading the previous dynamic with, like, a bad dynamic. It's like, oh, no, we've made it better.
This episode has so much good stuff going on. Like, even aside from the Ivan stuff, all the other guys lost their spines from bones. And so they're scared of everything, and it is hilarious.
No, I don't want to go.
Get down there.
Come on, Chase. You're next.
Fight me.
Shelby, please. I am afraid of dinosaurs. Please. What's wrong with you, Shelby?
When this came out, and you know, we were like reading kind of what was going to happen. I was a little mad because I loved the Kyoryuger episode version of this because, like, you know, we had Candelera like doing her little song, and I was like, I can't. That's like the biggest negative for this episode is that they did not do that.
Yeah, she didn't sing period.
I wish she did.
I know, it was fucking rude.
She deserved her song. I love when like they lose their spines and like Shelby like convinced Ivan to like come help, and he's just like
brave as the Knights of Xandar. Mm-hmm.
They're afraid of Curio.
And Voice Ranger's like, get him, Curio! Oh, it's so cute. And then they go back to the base and like Shelby like struggles to get them back in there, and they're like scared of a mouse.
I mean,
so funny.
It is the best shit.
And then, of course, Chase and Riley are tucked into the same corner. There's one shot where Riley looks up at Chase, and that's in my Twitter banner.
Yeah, they were feeding the Charlie shippers in season 1.
And then there's a shot where it's like, Keeper's talking to them or something, and it cuts to Riley, and Riley starts saying something, but when he's talking, he moves his hand closer to Chase, and I'm just like, oh my god! Oh my god!
I mean, you can't tell me Charlie wasn't real after that.
You cannot.
You cannot. No, absolutely, sir. No way. You can take that shit right back to the store.
Return that because I don't want it, Mama. And then, girl, the Knights of Amber Beach.
Well, what do we have here? You've got to be joking!
Prepare to incur the wrath of... the Knights of Amber Beach!
Iconic, the best thing to ever come out of this show. It is so good.
It is the funniest thing in Power Rangers, period. I cannot compare it to anything else. It is the funniest thing in Power Rangers.
Oh, it is.
We have literally watched this 100 times.
Like, my note is literally, it's like me describing a Stefan thing. It has it all. It's got Gold Rangers, geriatric crossing guards, a smelly mime, and a Gertrude on a Jazzy who's very angry that the Food Lion did not accept her coupon for fixing it.
Oh, speaking of that old lady, when they like get out of there after Vivix or something, and you can still see her like driving away when he's still fighting the Vivix.
Literally, the zoom out where you see her driving, she's like still like trying to leave the shot. It is so good. It's so funny.
That's comedy.
That's comedy, Mama.
Now that's comedy.
Also, tag yourself. I'm the old lady swinging the purse.
I'm the geriatric crossing guard.
I guess I'm the
smelly mime.
Yeah.
Ray, I'm the smelly mime.
But yeah, this is overall a really good episode, and then Ivan joins the team in the...
Yeah, they had to prove themselves to Ivan, which I liked, because I like that there's a little animosity at first.
Because usually it's just like, oh, you're a ranger, okay, you're on the team.
Welcome.
This is my decision.
Even though Shelby was like, girl, you are the Gold Ranger. You have to join us. I'm like, no, he doesn't.
He's like, I don't gotta do shit.
There's no rule. Okay, so time for my number 3 pick. So it is Love at First Fight.
I'll get you! Help!
Hey!
Help! Oh no!
Stop, you pile of mismatched candy hearts!
I better get out of here! Ah!
Yes!
Yes.
This episode is both one of the funniest episodes and gayest episodes ever.
Absolutely it is.
Let's talk about the gay first. So this episode starts off with Poisandra getting her nails did when Curio comes in not vibing with a female Vivix crushing on him since, you know.
Go away! Stop following me! Ew!
There you are, Curio. I see you have an admirer.
Oh, buzz off! She's not my type! And she hangs around like a bad smell!
We then get Poisandra using her gay-ass magic makeup palette to turn the female Vivix into Beauty Cruel, who's armed with a blonde bob wig, rubber lips, a feather boa, and a pretty good Mae West impression.
Ready to be fabulous, dear? Let's get this party started!
Wow, I'm like a beautiful girl, but meaner. I'm Beauty Cruel.
She then wants all the guy rangers to be her boyfriend, because who wouldn't? Like, come on now.
I mean, honestly, everybody on that team, besides one in particular, is boyfriend-girlfriend material.
Are you talking about Zenwing?
We all know the one that is not a significant other material. Obviously, knowing me.
You'd fuck that chicken.
I mean, you know...
That's a beautiful suit, girl. I'll give it to you.
It's a beautiful suit. There is rainbows. He looks like he would be an excellent lover.
And you know what? Riley's also right there with you, because he wanted to fuck that bird too.
Exactly.
Every single guy ranger on that team he wanted to fuck. There's a moment with every single one.
The proof is in the pudding, mama.
But speaking of Riley, when Beauty Cruel wants to be my boyfriend, Riley says, I'll pass.
Well,
I'm gay, thanks.
Alright, so let's talk about the comedy. So like I said before, the comedyest episode is top tier. So let's talk about Tyler. Tyler is put under the influence of Poisandra's magic makeup that makes him fall in love with Beauty Cruel after she switches body with a random ginger. And Brendan Mahila really cheeses up. Like, when they're at the Dino Bite Cafe, he's just sitting there watching Beauty Cruel drinking a smoothie, and he's like,
I love the way you slurp.
Side note, don't tell me Shelby didn't drop that smoothie on her accidentally.
Oh, she did that on purpose, mama.
Because Come on now. Alright, so let's talk about Chase. So Chase is the star of this episode when it comes to comedy. First, we see him coming up with this hilarious story to tell Kaylee about, like, he needs to go do ranger duties, and she's like, where are you going? And he's like, I've got this goldfish named Bubbles that's sick.
Oh my god, and he does like the little like spin. That's so cute.
Oh, like he's got one bad fin like Nemo. And then the whole scene of him pretending to love Beautiful and trying to get her to switch back to the original body.
You're not usually my type.
What?
Yeah. I usually like someone with short hair. Like a bob? I love a good bobbed haircut.
Yeah, I like it, Bob, too.
You know what else I like?
No. What?
Big lips. Like huge red lips.
Well, what about eyes?
Eyes are overrated. Who needs eyes?
Right. No eyes.
That is comedy. I feel like I've said that 100 times, but that is comedy. Alrighty, so that is my last pick. Austin, what is your third choice?
My third choice is Forgive and Forget.
Seriously? You really like losing, don't you, Brainiac?
Let's see if you can run as fast as you can talk.
Honestly, I feel like this is a very underrated episode. When we first watched this, like when it aired, like we were just like, oh, that wasn't really a good episode. And now I'm like eating this shit up like, yes!
You're like, spoon feed it to me, bitch!
I had to diversify my palate and figure out my tastes.
We had to take off our reviewer glasses and put on our rainbow gay glasses, and it's like, this ain't as bad as I remember it.
Let's think about it, though. How many years has it been since this aired?
5.
Think about it. You're not quite the same person you were 5 years ago. So, I mean, I'm just saying. You're like 2 years away from all your cells being completely different. So, I'm just saying.
That's facts. But this episode just gives me more gay Riley content. Like, I'm a baby, and, like, someone's just, like, feeding me with, like, a little spoon. Just, like, some spilling out on my little bit, but, like, I'm getting most of it.
We get it, you're baby!
You're like your little baby Yoda eating your macarons, and you ate too many, and the ship was going really fast and kind of spit them up a little bit, but that's okay.
Amanda coming in with the napkin.
This also has Riley's ex-boyfriend, Bert. Love. It's like similar to like Chase and Riley's banter from Tooth Hurts, and he's calling him Brainiac, and I'm just like, y'all have like hate fucked like once at least.
Oh, absolutely.
Like that's something y'all did in like the locker room, like on the down low or something.
No, legit. Like this is how it went down. Like it was like this big bonfire, and they kind of went out in the woods, and they kind of had some fun, and then like didn't talk about it again.
I love it.
So there you go. That's a free fanfic idea. Please, when you finish it, just send it to me at pan2topan on Twitter. Thank you so much.
Or just to all of us at the Grid PR. Just submit it to the Grid
Honestly.
PR. We might actually read it on air.
Ooh, it's a Grid Masterpiece Theater?
Of a fanfic? That's actually a fun idea.
Ooh.
There's this thing that Tyler, Coda, and Chase do for the marathon that Riley's in, where they lift up their shirts and they spell out, "Run, Riley, run!"
You're literally motivating Riley with your bare chests. Come on now.
They know.
To be honest, that's such a himbo thing to do.
I think this episode should have been called Run, Riley, Run.
They wanted to focus on forgiving and forgetting, that kind of thing.
Tyler Navarro? I have your wallet.
Who is Ner?
Who is Ner?
Amber, what is your third favorite episode?
This is me getting spicy. And this is actually a perfect segue also into some of your guys' least favorite episodes, because I like Sink or Swim.
Halt, alien Toadwort! Running from us will not be your salvation.
Whatever that means.
It's Morphin! Put a little bit of pizzazz into it, Sir Tyler. Let me show you how it's done.
Did you find anything?
Everything's under control, Miss Morgan.
Now morph already!
Because you all are fuck haters, and my favorite things are just everyone in their little sassy explorer hat, and basically Tyler being bitchy about a jacket that clearly looks better on Ivan.
I do have nice things to say about that episode.
I don't hate it, it's just like the weakest of Dino Charge in my opinion.
I really enjoyed it because it was really stupid.
I mean, it's stupid, but it's not top tier for me. Dino Charge is 44 episodes, not every can be in my top 10, so somebody's gotta be at the bottom 10.
I'm just saying, you guys put this near the bottoms of your list almost every time. Even the worst episodes of this season are better than some seasons' best episodes.
That's why I said least liked instead of worst.
I just love just Tyler being such a little bitch because he knows that he's wrong, but he does not want to be wrong and admit that he's wrong about this jacket.
Alright, so segue on to least liked episodes. Okay, so the first one on my list is Besties Forever.
Hey guys, my treat. I got one for each of you.
Goodness gracious. Her treat? I paid for those. Did she just...
Oh, yeah.
Same.
Mine too.
So it's all ours.
That's one I actually really dislike only because
Aaron.
Fucking hate that fake ass bitch.
And spelling of the title, let's talk about that first. It's Besties, the number 4, EVA, exclamation point.
Like, why? They're trying to be hip.
Early 2000s teen girl speak.
Besties forever. Hey. It's like the writer's trying to be hip.
So let's talk about Erin. She's apparently Shelby's best friend, who she's never mentioned before, but she's apparently Shelby's bestie.
And she is as fake as press on now.
It's like, she's such a fake ass friend, and like, get the fuck out of here. How dare you treat Shelby like that?
And she takes credit for other people's shit. Like, she takes credit for the song Shelby wrote, and she takes credit for buying ice cream for everybody when Chase paid for it. Like, who does that?
It's like, who the fuck are you, Karen?
She's also kind of dumb. She says that she's the Pink Ranger when a reporter comes up after a fight, which puts a big fucking target on her head, by the way. And she puts a lot of people in danger because they're like following her when there's like a monster attack. I'm like, way to go, you idiot. But okay, there is one thing I like about this episode, though. I still like something in this episode, and it's the monster. I like Half-Baked. He's a cute little baby monster. He's like, I don't want to be a chef. I want to fight the Wayne does. But Heckle's like, girl, you're going to make me some cookies, and you're going to put cinnamon in this time. I swear to God.
Get back in the fucking kitchen.
Oh my god, I tweeted a cap from this episode like last week at the time we're recording this, and there's a spike ball that's like attacking a lady for her groceries to get the cinnamon.
I love that. That's the good stuff in this episode. Like, even episodes we don't like, there's something in it that's like, okay, this is great. And then they blast the cinnamon, and he gets super serious, and he's like,
You destroyed my cinnamon! Now I'll destroy you!
Cinnamon? This guy's crazy.
it's just cinnamon, dude. You just go to the supermarket and get it. You don't need to steal it from an old lady.
Right.
Just proof that gays love cinnamon.
True.
That was a joke we had back in the day. We were like, oh, gays love cinnamon.
Half-Baked. Mm-hmm. Why don't I taste cinnamon?
It's not my fault. We're all out. I sent a spike ball monster to steal more cinnamon, but the Rangers destroyed him.
Destroyed my spike ball. We've got to find more cinnamon.
Alright, since that was all on our list, let's move on to number 2. So number 2 for me is Amber's number 3 favorite, Sink or Swim.
Same. That's my number 2.
Dino Charge's first season is really good, almost flawless, but if I had to put one episode on this list from season 1, I'll just put this on here, because I'm not a fan of Tyler being an asshole. It's very off-brand for Tyler since he's usually a ball of positive energy.
Those were my positives for this episode. Like, that's so fun to watch, though.
He's not perfect. He really likes her, and all of a sudden this other guy is getting her attention. Like, I can understand him feeling a little bit inadequate and being kind of jealous. Because, I mean, look at Ivan. Look at Ivan. Of course I'd be fucking inadequate feeling when I'm standing next to Ivan. I like it because it's like realistic jealous shit.
It's like the Tyler Ivan shenanigans is the stuff I like, especially like Ivan shows up in the beginning of the episode on the horse and does like a little peace sign.
I like that. Ivan does no wrong. I'm not a fan of Tyler being jaded.
It's the fart monster for me.
The monster smokescreen is he has 2 jokes, is that he wants to be in charge and he wants to fart out smoke.
Why is your name Smoke Screen? It is smoke. It's not fart. Like, why are you, quote, farting out smoke?
The only fart jokes that I accept from this show are about the Oviraptor Zord, and that's it. The end. Mwah. Because smelly egg dinosaur. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you for looking at me and saying, this is you as a dinosaur, Amber. You're a smelly egg dinosaur. I'm like, thank you.
It's just Red Frog. It didn't need to be like fart gas, and like it's very obvious this was written by a writer.
I feel like it was changed later on, but you never see anybody mouth the fact that it smells. Like, it's always off screen. Like, one of the Rangers says it off screen, or one of the monsters says it off screen.
Which is such a weird thing to change in post-production. It's like, why?
You know what this episode needs? More fart jokes.
Yeah, I didn't need that. I wasn't here for that. Spoilers for monsters later on. I got one positive for this episode, is that Kendall is hilarious in this episode. She's fucking micromanaging children on how to dig for fake fossils, and I fucking love it.
Hey. That is a hat, not a bucket.
Amber, what is your second choice for least liked episodes?
This one, I kind of bunched these two up because this is me doing my soapbox rant. I chose Roar of the Red Ranger and Forge Under Fire because James Navarro is a fucking trick-ass, whack-ass, dad-beat-ass dad and does not deserve his son. Absolutely fucking not. Bullshit!
If I'm not mistaken, it's from Xandar. Yes, that is right. Beautiful replica. Replica? King George himself gave me this sword. The King George gave it to you? You're right.
Forged in Fire is number 3 on my list, too.
There's chunks of those two episodes that are actually really great, but it's the fucking James shit that I'm just like, fucking get out of here.
He's a jerkwad.
He's a jerkwad. The dubbing is really lazy. I'm sorry. That's production thing.
Why are you casting someone to dub him?
Also, like, why didn't you pick somebody just a little bit older looking? Because I understand the no aging thing, but also, like, that means you must have had your child very young.
It's also awkward because there's a scene where Chase is like,
honestly, you and Tyler look more like brothers than you do father and son.
Incredible. Come on, bro.
ugh.
You could have at least maybe picked somebody in their 30s.
As much as I'd love to see hotness on the show, you can cast someone older to play Tyler's dad, and maybe someone with that can do an American accent too.
Or just like roll with it being a Kiwi. Been like, oh, he's half New Zealander and half American. Like, that would be great. The whole James thing was really kind of lazy, especially considering the Philip stuff was good. Albert stuff / Kendall stuff was so good. Like, you devoted kind of basically 2 episodes to this because it kind of bled over between them.
Every Ranger had a great arc about how they bonded. Like, friggin' James just comes out of nowhere. Like, in the same episode, Tyler gets a battleizer like it's an afterthought.
It's so fucking lazy. And it's like, if you were gonna fucking do it dirty like that, you might as well just skip the whole James thing and just went straight with the female Aqua suit.
Honestly.
Because then we could have had another girl on the team, and then we wouldn't have had this lazy ass dad storyline. Or it could have been like, oh, he found the Aqua gem, but it didn't bond to him, so he tried to find somebody to like bond with. That would have been a great story. Like, it's just so fucking lazy. I'm so pissed about it. 5 years later, and I'm still fucking pissed off about it.
And then he leaves at the end of the episode because God forbid he sticks around after not seeing his son for 10 years. He's like,
Hey, Dad. Tyler. Keeper and I have been talking. We both feel that my geology skills should be put to better use. The search for the silver energem is what I need to focus on now. Wait, you're leaving? Someone very wise recently reminded me that this is about much more than you and me. We have the whole world to think about right now. Yeah, I know, but Dad, I need you. I've seen you in action, and I hate to admit it, but you're not 8 years old anymore.
And the bullshit thing was, it was in fucking outer space. He was never going to find it anyway. So it was like basically get out of being a father free card because you were never going to fucking find it. You piece of shit, deadbeat dad.
you want to know the fucked up thing about this episode that I hated the most at the beginning of the episode? It's when Tyler's introducing all his friends to his dad. He's like also nonchalant about it. It's like, oh, dad. He's like, oh, what? And like Tyler's like trying to tell his dad that Coda's a caveman. And he's like, oh, whoa, whoa. He's like, he's not listening. Then he goes up to Ivan. And then he's like, oh, really? You're a knight? I'm like, are you fucking... Oh, do not come for Ivan. If he says he got it from King George, he got it from King fucking George.
I will slap the brown out of your hair, boy. Like, fuck out
of
here.
And then he shades Prince Philip, and he's like, you're a knight? I'm like, what is he, a prince? And he's like, yeah, it's Prince Philip, you fuck.
And he literally did more than you did to earn his fucking energem. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Oh, God. I fucking hate him so much.
Like, okay, it could have been something cool, too. Like, he was, like, you know, hiding out. But then, here we go, female Aqua Ranger be like, oh, he had to give it up, and he gave it to her to save him, or whoever. That would have been a good story, too. And had another girl character.
It should have made Kaylee the female Aqua Ranger.
I'd have been okay with that. I actually wouldn't have hated that. I was like, what's the fucking point? There was so much footage. Maybe it's because they didn't want to use the Sentai footage. I'm like, then you could have cast somebody who was a little bit older, had a little bit thicker build, because Kyoto Cyan had that footage with him having the thicker body type.
And the thing is that they didn't even care, because it's when you see Agua in original footage, it's not even that thick. It's like he's the same build as everyone else.
I just felt it was really, really lazy.
Yeah, that arc was bad. They made up for it with the Zenwing stuff. The Zenwing stuff was really good.
Except the fact that he should have been their mentor the entire fucking time, but that's another conversation for later in the show.
Alright, so I got a few more things to talk about. Forge and Fire, like there's a big continuity error when the Rangers are both using the Dino Charge Megazord, which has the T-Rex Zord in it, and Tyler's using T-Rex Supercharge mode, which has Little Rexy in it. Okay, so I got one good moment in this episode. At the beginning where Ivan and Riley are training, Ivan says,
"Speed isn't everything, Sir Riley."
What do you mean?
All the stuff with like Tyler is possessed by Rexy, like that stuff is amazing and adorable. It was cute in Kyoryuger, it was cute in Dino Charge. They did a really good job of like making it their own because it was super fucking cute and I loved it anyway. So
I did like the opening scene where Tyler's being all jazzed about finding a box he puts stuff in every year on his birthday or something.
That's fucking cute as hell.
But then when you find out that James Navarro is a fucking asswipe,
it ruins it. I thought this was the cutest shit I ever saw, and then you fucking ruin it. How fucking dare you? I fucking hate this guy. I'm telling you, man. Fucking hate him.
Well, that was my third and Amber's third. Austin, do you have a different third?
Yes, my third is also probably not very surprising. It's End of Extinction.
When the 10 Energems are joined, they break the chains that divide the past, present, and future. This is the Energem's ultimate power, the ability to transport you through time.
Yeah, because we haven't talked about this in length.
Hashtag same.
I'm not gonna go on that much about it. It's just, we deserved a much better finale compared to how good the rest of the season is.
It's just weird because Edge of Extinction is pretty good, and then we get End of Extinction, and it's like garbage.
They just kind of got lazy with the ending.
Like time travel and using it as a crutch.
I would have been fine with Sledge using the Dark Energem and like using with all his generals and his monsters, becoming like the final day boss form, and just use that, film in a quarry, use that monster suit, fight the Rangers and get destroyed. Like, what's the problem with that? Like, just do that. Like, you don't need to do the whole cerebral time traveling, bring back the dinosaurs thing. Just give us a fight at a quarry. That's all we needed.
I would have been okay with, instead of doing time traveling, maybe knock them into a whole nother dimension. That could have been something where it's like, oh, hey, everybody involved got knocked into the next dimension, where it's like a mirror dimension, but dinosaurs or something. That would have been something, because at least it's not time travel. You're just not in your own dimension and you can't go back.
You just erased the whole season.
I just feel like that this ending was just kind of, they wanted to use time travel somehow or bring dinosaurs back. I'm like, but why? It didn't do any good. It did, like...
You just relegated Dino Charge to its own dimension now. Like, yeah, the transportal devices are a thing, so they can come to the main dimension, but at the same time, it's like...
What was the fucking point?
Gonna put all the good seasons in their own dimensions now?
It's just kind of a mess. When the first episode of Dino Charge came out, like, how many times did we watch that?
That was so good.
Remember how hype beast we were about it? Because even just us as a friend group, we all watched it a bunch of times. Like, even me, like, I don't normally rewatch very much. I watched it at least 2 or 3 times because it was so good. And, you know, like, when you have that high of an up and then you end on kind of such a down, it's just a letdown because the whole series was so good.
It's a good season with a bad ending like that. Usually never happens, too. It's like, it's a really good season, and I'm just bummed that it had a bad ending.
I would have rather it had a bad beginning and at least ended good, because then at least my last thoughts on it were like, oh, it ended really good, instead of being like, it could have been better.
But at least Dino Charge kind of got some rep later on. Like, we got Dakota coming back for the anniversary season. We got the Poisey show. We got the 3-part Dino Gangbang and Beast Morphers.
No lie, I really think it would be very hard to keep Yoshi Sudarso away from the franchise. Unless they really, really do him dirty. Like, I think anytime they ask him and he's got availability, he'd be like, absolutely, I'll throw on that caveman wig. Let's go.
Yeah, I don't care if the wig is shitty, just bring him back. I'm not sure if, like, Dino Fury is going to have any connections to Dino Charge since COVID, but I kind of hope it does. Alrighty, so that was our favorite and least favorite episode. On to favorite Rangers. Let's be real. We all know who's all our lists. Ivan.
Sir Ivan of Xandar.
Like, I mean, obviously, like, he's all of our number one.
Like, the best Gold Ranger exists.
He's the sweetest and the best, and he has absolutely had the sex.
Canonly. You know, like, he made a great-grandson or whatever.
That is canon. Though it makes me sad to think that, like, he left his lady either with children or knocked up when he disappeared. That kind of is really sad when you think about it.
He probably just was on a mission, didn't think he was going to be gone forever.
I guess it's fine that he went back to the past.
I guess the story of the Stone of Xandar doesn't happen now that he didn't disappear.
I think he comes back after that happened.
I don't know. It's confusing. I don't want to think about the finale and all that shit, how that makes no sense. Let's talk about Ivan, though. Like, what can we say about Ivan? He's loyal, he's chivalrous, he's a hottie, and he's fucking hilarious.
He's one of the greatest himbos known to man.
Let's be real, though. Like, if they got the wrong person to play Ivan, it would be terrible because you need to get the right person. Davi he knows what show he's in.
It could have very easily been like a Taizan type character who's just super bland and boring. You know, Davi, he's a fucking master. Iris found an actual actor with actual acting talent.
I love the build up to his intro with the gold energem being the Stone of Xandar. And then him like just popping out of Fury from time to time. Like that started in episode 8. And I think his intro is in episode 11. So you got like 3 episodes of build up because you get that and you get a little mystery in episode 8. Then you get 9 where you see Riley like trying to get the energy out of him to charge the gold Terra Charger. Then episode 10 you get the whole introduction about the Stone of Xandar, and then the next episode you get Prince Velp here, and then he's like, oh, Ivan was inside Fury this whole time. Okay. Very good build up. But Tyler's the only one that's mad though. I'm like, you're not dead.
You're my dad.
Alrighty, so on to my second choice. Shocker of all shocks. It is Miss Kendall Morgan.
Is it gonna work, Kendall?
It's Miss Morgan.
Kendall is queen. Kendall is an icon. Kendall is me if I was a Power Ranger character. I love how she won't take shit from no one. Like in the episode, no matter how you slice it, when the Rangers are getting messy in the kitchen, when they're under their like, I hate you spell. And she's like,
get cleaned up and go to the base. Now.
She's the mom of the group, 100%.
Yeah, she's the mom friend.
She is the exasperated foster parent of this group.
And like me, she's also a perfectionist and refuses to finish something unless she knows it's perfect. To the extent of falling asleep at her computer, like me. Even when she does fuck up, like in When Sleeping Zords Lie, she forgets to put a VPN or something on the E-Tracer, and she's like,
I rarely make mistakes, but when I do, I correct them. No excuses.
Also, last but not least, her journey from Tech Girl Boss Lady to Purple Ranger is fantastic. From episode 1, you know she's going to be the Purple Ranger because of the glasses, but it's still like delicious and like, feels so good when she finally bonds with the Purple Energem and One More Energem. Love it.
And I really love that. It's kind of like, well, you know, actually you are Ranger material. Like you didn't think you were, but you actually 110% are.
Alrighty, Austin, what is your number 2 choice for Rangers?
My number 2 choice is Riley Griffin.
Velociraptor, Power Ranger, green.
He's gay as fuck, so it's like there's that. But also I kind of just found him to be relatable in the sense of him changing who he is to fit in. Because like he's different also his focus episodes, but it's like I think he's kind of just adapting to situations to try to like fit in with other people. Like we see that in like Forgive and Forget, and then that baseball episode with Coda. I kind of saw that he himself couldn't do that, but sports obviously is like a big like, oh, like you're popular if you're in sports and good at it or whatever, but obviously he wasn't. He was labeled the brainiac that we saw by Bert in the earlier episode.
And the closeted fencer. He is secretly fencing in the barn.
And he never comes out about fencing. The only time I didn't like Riley was the Gone Fishing episode where he's just a competitive actor.
You can't have any fun with Riley in that episode. It's like everything's got to be a contest. It's like, oh, you got to measure the fish. I'm like, shut up.
We're just trying to vibe and fish.
All right, Amber, what is your number 2 choice for favorite Rangers?
I mean, this is going to be a huge, big surprise, but Coda. I just love how sweet he is, and obviously you could tell that Yoshi really put his whole ass into making Coda like the sweetest himbo, precious angel ever. I love Coda and Kendall's friendship. He's the only one that can call her Kendall. She will stare down anybody who says anything other than Ms. Morgan.
That is a plot point in the Halloween special, like when Emerella disguises herself as Coda and she calls him Miss Morgan. She like uses that as the cautionary flag, is like, hold me, Miss Morgan. Like that can't be Coda.
I just love that. I think he's such a sweet character, and you know, you tell he cares about his friends, and I just love him. He's just a good egg.
He is a precious baby, and I feel like if the wrong person was cast as Coda, it wouldn't work as well, but Yoshi is perfect for Coda.
Yoshi's so much like Coda. I think he put a lot of himself into Coda.
Oh, totally. I mean, they're both always shirtless, so.
I mean, other than that, I enjoy the shirtlessness, do not get me wrong, But like, if I'm trying to take the high road and, talk about character points, I think he's just a really good character. Coda never disappoints. Never let me down the entire season.
10 out of 10. Well, I was going to put Coda on my list too, but I knew one of y'all bitches were going to put Coda on your list. So instead, I put Tyler as my number 3.
Tyrannosaurus Rex, Power Ranger Red!
Because Tyler is a precious, precious, pure baby. He's not just one of my favorite Rangers from Dino Charge, he's also my favorite Red Ranger of all time.
Honestly, like, I could probably agree with that. Like, I could get down with that opinion.
He is great. Which is funny considering I hated Daigo, and Kyorager hated him.
Okay, I like Daigo. I didn't really hate anybody that season. And the same thing with this one. There's only one character I really hate this whole time.
Tyler is just a ball of positive and happy energy, which usually can get annoying depending on the person, but it honestly works for Tyler. Like, the dude is jazzed up to be a freaking burger boy in the 3rd episode, and that's fucking adorable.
Yeah.
He's also a great leader and a badass. Like in One More Energem, he fucking loses his Energem, but he's still kicking Sledge's ass, going up to Sledge's ship without an Energem to get his Energem and the purple Energem back, and fighting Sledge too. I'm like, you go, Tyler. That's how you do it. He also has some cute shipping moments with Shelby. One I can think of in particular is when he was auditioning for the EdZ boys, because Shelby was thirsty for Rada, one of the EdZ boys. And they do like a cute little duet, and it's like, okay, you two like each other, and now you two know you like each other, and you're gonna kiss, but of course, Coda fucking breaks it before they can kiss. Thanks, Coda.
The only heteros that I respect.
I ship one heterosexual couple.
Alrighty, so that's all I have to say about Tyler. Austin, what is your 3rd pick for favorite Ranger?
My 3rd pick is Miss Shelby Watkins. Before I go into like Shelby's like character and anything, I just need to acknowledge that Camille Hyde was the first Black Pink Ranger. Hello, let's celebrate that.
That was a big deal because she was the first Black female Ranger since Katie. So that was like, what, 13
Which
years?
is terrible.
Like the entire Disney era didn't have a female Black Ranger?
Yikes. And people want to praise the Disney era. I'm just saying. I think Shelby is a really strong Pink Ranger with great development, because she starts off as like this messy, kind of arrogant girl to the point where like Kendall is like, I don't know why the Energem chose you.
And I see it too. Like, some people are like, oh, Kendall's just a bitch in jail. So I'm like, no, like Shelby is a mess. Like, she can't even waitress. She's been around Shelby for a while, I'm guessing. She's worked at the cafe, I'm sure, for a while. So she sees her every day, and she can't even be in charge of a cafe. Like, how can she be a ranger if she can't handle working at a cafe? It's valid.
Seeing how somebody works in a service environment kind of tells you a lot about a person's personality. And if she can't handle this, like, how do I expect her to take this responsibly? Because like Shelby was very much a brat in the beginning. Like, because I remember the whole fandom was super pissed at Kendall because Kendall was really hard on her because she didn't think she could take it seriously. And I mean, Kendall knew her, so it's not like she was unknown to her. And like, she was like, you don't take this seriously. How am I expected to trust you with something this serious?
But then we get Let's Seeping Swords Light, and she proves herself by making the E-Tracer.
And then she also proves herself at the end of Supercharge when she makes a Zord.
That is growth.
Exactly. And she's a really good character, but she did grow, and she earned that.
That's what we call growth, sweaty.
And she got her man, too. They are so fucking adorable. Oh my god.
I would die for them.
What is your 3rd favorite Ranger, Amber?
My 3rd is Chase.
Parasaur, Power Ranger, Black.
Because I love airheads.
Chase is great. He's a little too obsessed with New Zealand, but I love him anyway.
They leaned in hard on that New Zealand credit and wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And I think that was a lot of fun. But also, like, Chase had great character growth that whole season. Even from the very first episode, Growth the House Boots. I really enjoyed him. He was a joy to watch and a good character. Learned things. I learned from lessons that he had.
He went from being like a pig that flirted with literally every woman to being in a relationship with Kaylee and growing beyond being all about him, that he learned how to think about someone else's problems and needs. And then that episode with Shelby where he's making fun of her for like the NZ boys. He learns not to be an asshole. So yeah, Chase is probably one of the Rangers that grew the most in China Church.
You could maybe say that was a detriment to the season because he got so much growth compared to other characters. It's not like it was wasted because it was good growth. I do kind of agree maybe they could have spread it out a little bit bit further. I mean, it was good growth though. It wasn't just wasted episodes and focus. Like it was actually, good stuff to watch. And he's an idiot bisexual. And as an idiot bisexual, I respect the game. The game recognizes the game.
And Polly too. So he's going with Kelly and Riley. They share.
I mean, he's kind of idiot enough that they kind of probably need to tag in and out though, to be fair.
Alrighty, so those are our favorite Rangers. Time for something a little harder and go through our least liked Rangers. I feel like there's one Ranger on all our lists for least liked, so James Navarro.
It's me.
I'm your dad.
And my number 2 is that's it. Number 3, everyone else is incredibly likable. I'm sorry. I hate him. I hate him, Mom.
James Navarro is technically the only Ranger on this list that I fucking hate. The other 2 Rangers are just on the list because I needed 2 other picks, but he's the only one I put on my list that I fucking hate.
Absolutely not. I refuse to even insult any other Ranger by putting them on the same list as him. No matter whether they got a lot of screen time or not very much, I don't give a shit.
So, James Navarro is a deadbeat dad. He makes a shitty excuse about how he stayed away from Tyler for 10 years because he was worried that Fury would try something. But then you remember, hey, Fury is a fucking lightweight and he can get his ass kicked by an unmorphed Ranger, so that's no excuse.
Let's play a little hypotheticals here. It's like, let's say Tyler didn't have his mom. So did you just let your son go into the child care system because you're a little fucking bitch? I'm sorry. Absolutely not. That is negative Ranger behavior.
He know he could morph, so it's like, what's the problem here? And then when he's reunited with his son for literally an episode, he's like, yeah, I gotta bounce. I gotta go find the Silver Energem or something. And it's like, we don't know where it is. Like, how are you gonna find it? You just gonna look under every rock or something? Then they find out the Silver Energem bonded with someone in space, so he's like, oh, I guess I could go find Sledge's ship, I guess. So bye, see you in 8 episodes. And I've mentioned this earlier, he's a fucking ass to all of Tyler's friends, and that is unforgivable. Fuck you. I'm done.
Fuck him. He's done. We're gonna pretend that he was placed with a beautiful lady and who was good and smart with Kaylee. Yeah, Kaylee's the Aqua Ranger. I'm sorry. Yeah, I love Kaylee. She was great. Astronaut? Yes, please.
Okay, so on to number 2. I am so sorry for this, but for number 2, I put Prince Philip.
I did also.
Don't get it twisted.
I love Prince Philip.
Right, that's your color scheme. What the hell?
I know, but it's like, I got 10 Rangers and I gotta pick 6 of them.
The notes I put down was that I love his royal sass, but I wanted to see him more.
Yeah, that would be the big negative. Because, honestly, between James Navarro and Prince Philip III, night and day.
He has a great introduction. He's introduced in the episode where we see Ivan for the first time, so we know about him before he becomes a Ranger. So then we see him, the next episode we see him, he finds the Graphite Energem using his royal ties, I guess. And then we see him training, so he's learning how to fight before he's bonded with the Energems. And then we see him develop throughout the episode. He's like, oh, maybe I can bribe the Energem to bonding with me or something. I'm like, okay, see how that works. And then Coda, the beautiful caveman that he is like, he actually does heroic things instead of just being like, oh, this is heroic, you're like donating money, whatever. The Energem is like,
he should be doing all that anyway instead of doing that to try to bond to the Energem.
Saving a person, that is how you bond with an Energem. And he saved Chase's sister Chloe.
I do shit Philip and Coda.
Oh, period.
In the episode he's introduced where you see him looking down at him and he's like,
so, you say the Energem bonded with you. Well, how is that?
It chose me.
It chose you. Why?
It believe I have good heart.
Good heart? Well, how does one prove that to a gem?
If you know of fanfics, please send them to the grid.p.
I mean, we named a vintage Grid episode after that filthy and shoeless quote, so.
Look at you. Filthy, you're shoeless. Were you born in a cave?
No. Born on Mammoth Hunt.
That stuff is great. Those 2 episodes are great. But after that, he's like, oh, he just scoots in every time there's footage needed of him. Or he just shows up at the end of the episode. He's like, oh, hey, I'm here.
It's like, why?
It's like he's literally just an extra for the rest of the show, honestly. And I feel bad for him.
He's a good actor. And it's like, you're wasting the good actors on this stuff.
But hey, at least I guess we got the 2 good episodes in season 1. And like every time I saw him in Dino Supercharger, I was happy. I wasn't mad. I just wish he had like episodes in season 2. Okay, on to number 3. Austin, don't hate me for this.
Uh-oh.
But I put Riley as my number 3. I'm sorry.
Closing my computer. I'm leaving. I'm already out the door.
Don't get me wrong, though. I love my little gay Green Ranger. It's just out of all the main 7.
You keep saying that, Mama.
That I gotta pick out of all these Rangers. Like, Riley just happens to be at the bottom. I don't hate him.
I mean, I guess he is a bottom, so that's fair.
Well, there you go. He's on the bottom of the bottom list. If I have to mention negatives about Riley, there are some episodes where he's kind of like a party pooper or a little obnoxious. Like, as much as I love The Tooth Hurts, cake samples, really? Like, your boyfriend, throw those out in the garbage, please. You don't need to be looking at frosting and cakes, how many bites somebody put in those cakes. Come on now. And then you mentioned this before, like him living vicariously through Coda and Homer and Coda, to the extent of them being like,
Miss Morgan's developed a new Dino Victory Charger that taps into both your Energem's powers.
We need you to join us to test it out.
Okay. No way. We got baton practice and sprints. I'm sorry, guys, but testing's gonna have to wait.
are you kidding me? Riley, really? All this for a fucking baseball game? Shut the fuck up. Sit down. Coda ain't vibing with this, and he's just doing this because he cares about you. I mean, I love that episode, don't get me wrong, but Riley in that episode...
You're such a little bitch!
I mean, I love Riley, don't get me wrong. I'm like, we used to call him a weenie when Dino Charge aired, but yeah, he's a weenie, but I love the weenie.
I was like, he's still a weenie. We just appreciate the weenie more.
I love every Ranger except for fucking James Navarro.
Exactly. This is why I didn't even bother picking anybody else, because I was like, I'm not going to insult them.
All right, Austin, what is number 3 on your least liked list?
No, girl, this is for you, coming for Riley. My third is Miss Zenowing.
Titanosaurus! Power Ranger! Silver!
Bitch! Again, it's like I picked 2 that are just like kind of lower on my list. I still love Prince Philip. I still love Zenowing. I put Zenowing though because I wish she was the mentor. I wish that suit was used for the mentor instead of Keeper. I think Keeper is useless.
I do love Zenowing's suit. He made the Zords and he had a great arc about him like having to fight Doomwing, and that was great.
The second we saw Keeper, I was just like, why is he not Torrens suit? Like, what the hell?
We wasted money on that Keeper suit when we could have put it into making sure that the Gold Ranger suit for original footage was the right color.
You got a point there.
That's fair.
I keep it real here. We all know that. That's my job.
I do love Zenowing's little arc about him being like Keckle and Snide, that he had a dark side that had control of him for the most part, and they had to split him up, and then he had to fight his dark side.
I like that, but at the same time, it's like, again, this is like with Beast Morphers. It's like we already had a similar storyline with that going.
But at the same time, you have this suit. What are you going to do with it? It's just a dark reflection of the suit. Like, what could you do with that, though?
They didn't have to fucking use it. I'm just saying.
They used everything in this season. What do you expect?
We already have 20 villains. We didn't need another one.
It could have been like an evil brother.
Or he could have just been evil for like an arc.
Well, it was just used to display the Dark Energem's power. Like, oh, like, so Zenowing has an evil counterpart like Heckle? Could the two be connected? Did Heckle get exposed to the Dark Energem?
I think Zenowing and Doomwing was more effective. I think they should have had that and then done something else with Heckle and Snide or whatever. Then we didn't need double the same thing.
But I do like how at the end of that, Zenowing becomes Heckle's teacher somewhat, and then that's expanded in the comics, where Zenowing goes to Sentai 6 with Heckle, and he's teaching him how to control the Dark Energem and eventually make a Morpher. And then Zenowing eventually sacrifices himself for Heckle so he could become the Dark Ranger.
Maybe if they would have not wasted some time with a Keeper, maybe we could have also gotten Heckle as the Dark Ranger in the season.
If everything was better paced out and planned, they could have done that.
Like those last couple episodes, it feels like that was the plan intentionally, but they didn't have the suit. Because like the last couple episodes, you see like Heckle being closer to the Rangers and like, okay, this seems like he's going to be the Dark Ranger, but he's not.
And Shelby made his Zord.
In the same episode, they befriend him. It's like you could have bonded Heckle with that Zord, and that's how he became the Dark Ranger. It's budget, I guess.
Well, what happened to that like 20 million from New Zealand?
But there's like footage of Death Ranger. Maybe they could have just used a different cockpit and just literally just use the footage.
Yeah, movie footage, but it's him as a villain. I don't know.
Yeah, but like the Spinozord stuff could have literally just been the original Sentai footage, and then like anytime they were in there, they could have just, recreated the cockpit or some bullshit like that. I don't know. I feel like it was a wasted opportunity because like it was kind of handed to them.
And we thought it was because they put him in in a fucking navy blue suit with navy blue highlights and a navy blue shirt. So it's like, are you doing this?
And then that sound effect was in the Morphin too.
But maybe they were going to do it and then they had to nix it pretty quick because they wasted too much money on other shit like a Keeper outfit.
Time and budget, I guess.
Keeper's a keeper. His name is Keeper and he is a keeper. I hate that.
Okay, so I think, I talked about Tyler, talked Dakota, Chase, Riley, Shelby, Ivan, Philip, James, Kendall.
Talk about Albert, I guess.
Yeah, let's talk about Albert for a minute.
World famous in New Zealand.
He was cool. I loved Albert. He was in one episode, but I still love him.
He was super fun. Like, it was a nice way to burn up a little bit of that Kyoto Violet suit. And then, also lead in Kendall. Because then it shows the power can be passed on. So it's like, James, why are you still holding on to yours? You could have given it to Kaylee. Or, hey, let me get a little spicy here. Kaylee's an astronaut. How about if she took the purple suit? Because Plesiozord is space. And Kendall could have been Aqua.
But back to Albert. He is great. He is a better father to Tyler than his actual father.
Ooh.
I said it. And then Albert rescues him. Ice Age fucking freezes his leg up. I'm like, oh, God. Albert was so great. I'm glad he got a figure, too. Alrighty, so that's our Ranger discussion. We're going to take a quick commercial break and come back with our favorite villains.
Yes, mama!
Hey everybody, I'm Brennan Mejia, aka Tyler Navarro from Power Rangers Dino Charge, and you're listening to The Grid. Dino Chargers, ready!
Greetings, this is Davi Santos, also known as Sir Ivan of Xandar from Power Rangers Dino Charge, and you're listening to The Grid. For those of you who don't know, The Grid is a Power Rangers universe of a podcast available on all the different platforms. It covers basically every subject from the graphic novels to the episodes. You and the team are so passionate, it only makes sense that Power Rangers fans know about this and that they can enjoy it. Dino Charger, ready!
And we're back with villains. I love how I say villains. Villains. Alrighty, so this might be on all of our lists, but my first pick for villain is Sludge.
Allow me to introduce the most magnificent intergalactic bounty hunter in the universe. The one, the only, my future husband, Sledge.
He's on my list too.
Alrighty, so Sledge is a goofy goober and I fucking love him. All the moments he has with Poisandra are amazing. Especially the one where he comes back when he's presumed to be dead for most of Dino Supercharge. And he tries to make an excuse about what he was doing.
I cried myself to sleep every night dreaming of you. Meanwhile, you were up having fun.
Not at all, Poisey. I wasn't having any fun. Hawaii was awful. And China, boy, that was miserable. And Japan? No one has any fun there. Throw up your hands, having fun in Japan. Just fun, 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 fun.
Like, he's a goofy goober, but he's also kind of a menacing villain, too. So it's a balance, because, like, as much as a goofball he is...
He's goofy, but he's menacing when he needs to be.
Yeah, like, Wrench and Fury are terrified of him, and he actually succeeds in taking down Lord Arcanon and his crew when he comes back. Like, you can shit on, like, the goofy villains, but they fucking deliver sometimes. Like, Divatox, she blew up the command center. They get shit done. Like, who cares if they're goofy? They get shit done.
I mean, technically, Sledge had the whole Earth sucked sucked up into a black hole. So he did do something.
I mean, it was something.
Yeah, it was something.
He did something. When he went through that wormhole, he came back, because he keeps coming back. He came back in Ninja Steel. And one of the best episodes of that season, honestly. Like, the Poisey show is one of the best episodes of Ninja Steel, and it's because of the villains that come back.
Okay, I'm going to say something controversial but brave. Sledge and Poisandra is a better couple than Rita and Zed. Change my mind.
Oh my god, I said the same thing in my notes.
I mean, it's a healthier relationship because, there was no...
love potion.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Rita, don't get me wrong, but she married for power, not for love.
Yeah, at first, like, Rita and Zed were eventually a love, but it was under false pretenses.
I think it's one of those kind of like arranged marriages things where, like, you're arranged marriage, like, you don't care for them, but slowly over the years, you kind of do start caring.
But yeah, he comes back in Ninja Steel. He comes back in Beast Morphers.
Come back in Diamond Fury King.
Yeah, come back in every season.
I don't care.
If you wasted the money on the suit, you might as well just get the money's worth out of it.
He needs to come back every season and say it's a bomb each time.
Every time. Like, when he said that in Beast Morphers, oh my god, I was so happy.
It's a bomb! Wait, I'm alive.
So, I feel like this is going to be in all our top threes. Poisandra.
Every intergalactic bounty hunter needs a girl like you, Poisandra. Smart, beautiful, heart-shaped.
Yes!
It's my number one. It's me. It's me. That's me. Like, I'm on this show. Why did they not pay me more?
Where's your residuals?
That fucking Saban money, man. He holds out.
She's a queen. Shocker. The gays love her. I love how determined she is about getting married. Even after 65 million years, she's determined to get that wedding. And that wedding was pretty great, not gonna lie.
Her in a dress and Sledge in his little tux and hat.
I appreciate our 25th anniversary wedding pack, but please give us a Sledge and Poisandra wedding pack.
It's their 5th anniversary this year.
Oh my god. Please make a Sledge and Poisandra 2-pack, but then also have it come with like little fabric outfits for their wedding that we can put on. Please!
The flaming homosexuals need it.
Yes. Her back-to-back with Fury is pretty hilarious. Like, she's the boss's girl, and she knows she can get away with anything. So she just snides at Fury a lot, and I'm like, I'm here for it too. But there's one thing I didn't like, though. Like, in Season 2, when Heckle takes over, and then Poisandra's calling him Master Heckle. No, ma'am. No. She's not Fury or Red. She don't treat her like that.
Absolutely fucking not.
But at least she got back to the top when Sledge came back. I'm also kind of disappointed that she kind of disappears in the first half of Dino Supercharge, which is a disgrace. Like, you see her in the first episode, and then she's gone until, like, episode 10 with no explanation. Like, she's just doing her nails for 9 episodes or something.
Good nails do take time. The only bad thing is that they did not have her sing. That would have been so great. I love when villains, like, take that human disguise, and I think it was such a waste that we didn't get that for her.
You cast a singer, too. Jackie Clark, who voices Poisandra, is a singer!
Yeah, it's like, this is fucking bullshit. Have her sing a little song. I mean, shit.
Alrighty, Amber, what is your number 2 choice for your favorite villain?
Curio.
Same.
Oh, Sledge, darling, let's forget those pesky energems. I'll go mad if I have to spend another day in this rust bucket with only vermin for companionship.
That's exactly why I got you a present.
Right here, Master Sledge.
A present? For me?
I built him from old monster parts. I called him Curio.
You got me a friend! A best friend? Aren't you just adorable? Wanna go make some trouble? Sure thing!
My note is literally an actual baby. How can I not love?
A gay baby.
A little gamey. I love him. Speaking of people I would die for.
I'll let Austin talk about Curio because, like, they wax poetic about Curio all the time.
I've wanted more Curio merch. Like, the only thing we got in the US was the 5-inch figure. The only thing Japan got was that little keychain, which I have.
No, there was a couple things.
They got a few things. The keychain, there's like the vinyl figure. There was the hat, which was Bandai Premium, and I would literally murder someone to get that
I think
hat.
it was like a lottery, too. And then I think they did make the nutritious Joyro can.
There's like this figure set for Kyoryuger that's like at least $300. And I'm like, I don't want the set. I just want the Curio one.
I know. It's like, let's keep the Curio and Poisandra, sell everything else.
And they did keys. I do have the Poisandra and Curio keys. But yeah, I was like, I need these keys in my life. So I actually got them for a pretty decent deal, but they didn't come with the little capsule things, but who gives a shit? They stay in there. Anytime Curio's just there, existing, and opens his mouth, I'm just like, I love you so much. And catching some rays, like the part like at the end where him and Poisandra are about to leave for vacation, ocean. Like, he's holding up that little crocodile floaty and just like doing a little peekaboo. Oh my god, I love you so much.
That's called kinning.
What?
Kinning. It means like it's yourself. That's me.
Oh, well, yeah, it is me.
Every time when rewatching Dino Charge for this, I was like, every time Curio was on the screen, I was like, oh, look how cute he is. Like, some breakout moments, just like catching some rays in general when he's like,
Did you pack your toothbrush?
I don't have any teeth!
Yes!
And the episode when he gets like the pumpkin spray can and he's like, oh, what do you want to drink? Oh, he's so baby. I love him. He's so great.
I would die for him. One thing I do wish though is I wish that like maybe for Dino Supercharge, because like Sledge's ship crashed. I wish like instead of doing the Magna Beam, having it bounce off the same satellite every episode, give Curio his little pumpkin thing and make him grow the monsters like in Kyruger.
A lot of the footage of Curio is him growing the monsters, and it's like, you really don't have a point for Curio except being Poisandra's gay bestie.
Yeah, I wish they did that.
I mean, as much as I love Curio being Poisandra's gay bestie, like, you could have done more. I do love that he's made out of spare monster parts. That's hilarious. That's kind of dark, but also hilarious. Also, he's baby.
Got me.
Alrighty, so my number 3 choice is Wrench.
Oh, man, that stings!
That makes sense. You are Wrench.
I was going to pick Curio, but I knew you were going to put Curio on your list, so I wanted to give Wrench a little spotlight. No matter who he works for, he seems to be a little underappreciated. He makes all these cool inventions, like a reanimator to revive old monsters, a robot that could be grown into an evil Megazord, and he even made Curio out of spare monster parts. And he's like, he gets shat on. Poor thing. I just like Wrench. He's a gay robot and is a valuable part of Sledge's crew. Like Scrozzle in a sense.
I mean, Ray, you kind of kin him. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm kidding a little bit.
We are certain villains.
Alright, that's all I have to say about Wrench. Amber, what is your third choice?
My third is Heckle.
I haven't been out of that cell for centuries. I love what you've done with the place.
We actually remember him this time.
I'm like, Heckle is great. Heckle is cute. Like, the only thing I would change is he should definitely have worn eyeliner.
Oh, yes.
That's my exact note. He should definitely have worn eyeliner.
What if they gave him like little like aqua eyeshadow to like match like his outfit?
There's so much good stuff about him, like the steampunk aesthetic. Bitch, mama, please, the goggles. Ryan is such a good actor.
They definitely took inspiration from Enter from Go Buster for him.
Iris casted well again. Iris did us right. She could cast a white boy, I'm telling you. It's just good. I really enjoyed him. I wish that he would have gotten a little bit more room to breathe as a villain before all the side stuff started coming up.
It's just weird because he's only in charge of the villains for 13 episodes, and then they go through this little arc about, oh, but he's actually good. He started off so strong with the whole like first 3 episodes of him being like a double agent pretending to be good to get intel on the Rangers, and then he kind of like turns into Sledge but a twink because he's like, oh, if you do this again, I'll kill you, and he's just sitting in the base for 9 episodes, and then Arcanon shows up, and then he just turns into his like, oh, I'm actually good now. I would have spent more time with him being a double agent, that's for sure. Maybe like a few more episodes.
I love a good like kind of redemption story with a villain. Heckle is definitely one deserving of that kind of thing, especially because like the backstory and whatnot with like the Dark Energem and all that jazz. Yeah, I wish I had a little bit more room to breathe, especially because looking back at it with a lens of being a little bit spoiled by Beast Morphers and that kind of foreshadowing. I wish they maybe would have foreshadowed a little bit earlier in Dino Charge.
Yeah, it just comes out of nowhere, to be honest. I was like, oh, he's actually good?
They teased like the whole Heckle thing right at the very end, which I mean, I get, but it would have been nicer if like it would have been maybe teased a little bit stronger earlier on in the first part of Dino Charge, and then that way we get it paid off.
Or maybe the tease of him actually being good, because that also comes out of nowhere.
They maybe didn't have enough time to really develop that storyline the way they should have.
I love how they handle Heckle though. Like, it's kind of funny, like he's like a kid in a candy shop, like, hey, you all feed me cake and chocolate and stuff. It's so hilarious just seeing Heckle just sit on Sledge's throne. He can barely fit on it. It's funny.
I just got a brain blast. Heckle killed James Navarro. Kaylee becomes Aqua Ranger. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. I fixed it.
Oh, that's his redemption arc, killing James Navarro.
As Heckle, when Heckle's evil, he kills James Navarro, but then like he does get a redemption arc, and it's like, actually, no, you're actually a good person. Like that whole you killing him that actually wasn't you. Like, you know, you were being influenced by the whole Snide thing. I just want James Navarro to die. But I mean, it's a good way to kill him. Like this whole episode is me finding new ways to kill James Navarro.
Alrighty, so let's talk about our least liked villains, which would probably just be clumped in the same faction. So my number one least liked villain is Lord Arcanon.
I am Lord Arcanon. Long ago, I hired Sledge to capture an army for me.
Same.
He's just boring. He's just a generic evil bad guy that wants power. That's about it.
It's so wasteful because, like, Chaos was, like, the villain of the whole fucking season in Kyoto.
And we got Sledge, and I do like that they made him Sledge's employer, but he's only around for 5 episodes, so it's like, you're not really doing much with him except for, oh, I'm the bad guy.
Yeah.
It would have been cool if he would have been checking up on Sledge the whole fucking time.
Like, you see him, like, having conversations with Sledge on his little computer thing, like, Sledge, what are you doing? And then maybe just make him the villain of season 2 instead of Heckle. Like, you can have Heckle on the season still, but, like, maybe Lord Arcanon could have been the main villain.
Maybe he'd, like, be Lord Arcanon's, like, kind of, like, stooge.
I don't hate Lord Arcanon, he's just a little generic. Alrighty, so my number 2 is Singe.
Is there any reason why I shouldn't slice whoever you are into smithereens?
You shouldn't do that if you want the Energems. How does he know about the Energems?
Rumor has it that they're loose on this planet, and that you're willing to partner with anyone that can bring you one.
What makes you think you can get an Energem?
Oh, please. I travel in a burning asteroid. Need I say more?
Also same.
Singe to me felt a little too stifling. He's introduced in episode 4, and we're just getting used to having Heckle and Snide around because there's also Sledge's crew general, so that's like 5, 6, 7, 8. And it's like, you have so many villains, and this dude just shows up in a burning disco ball. He's just a part of the problem that Dino Charge has way too many villains. Like, I love Sledge's crew and all around, plus Heckle and Snide, plus Singe, plus Lord Arcanon, plus Doomwing. It's like, good lord.
If you're gonna make your own monsters, you don't have to use all of the monsters, guys.
Or, like, destroy some of them. As much as I like Sledge's crew, maybe you could have just, like, put them away, and then, like, season 2 villains are just these villains you didn't use for season 1.
You know, maybe, like, lock them up, and then, like, you know, they get unlocked and then, like, betray the new villains. Like, actually, we're bad guys, but we're not bad guys.
And honestly, they didn't really do anything with Singe beyond the rivalry with Fury, which honestly felt like a little Diadarconda. And then he just leaves on his burning disco ball, and he comes back and he doesn't really do anything except swapping bodies with a Vivix and getting killed by Sledge.
When we were doing our rewatch, I actually had a good idea for Singe. Instead of using the suit that they did for Snide, use Singe for Snide, and then Heckle could have had like a flame-inspired suit, and like instead of that little symbol on his neck, it's like a little like flame or something. And just always going like, oh, like I have such a headache. Well, that could have been why, because he was about to turn back into Heckle or something.
And that's around the time Dino Supercharged started using that footage, was around that villain coming in Kyoruger, so it's like, it makes sense. You could have made Heckle and Snide Lord Arcanon's little bit.
I'm also just like, if they weren't going to do the Dark Ranger stuff, because like I feel like Heckle's outfit kind of leaned into that. If you're not going to do it, just go a different route with it. They could have done a flame. That would have been hot. And then put like the orange like eyeshadow. Ugh.
They honestly didn't do anything with the Snide suit because everyone assumed, because it was like, oh, they're using that suit. Are they going to use the Dino team up in this season? I was like, no, just the suit. Like, they didn't know they were going to use this movie until they filmed Beast Morpher, so it's like, could have been Zoltrax and Beast Morphers.
They made it work.
Amber, you want to go?
My number one's gonna be a little spicy. My first one's Wrench. I thought Wrench was kind of boring. I know it's spicy for you, Ray. But also, I'm still super pissed at Igaron, though, because he was fucking with Ian. Like, that carried over for me. I'm sorry. I couldn't put those prejudices aside for Dino Charge. Like, fucking Ridge is a little bitch and he could fucking go die.
Oh my god.
The whole thing with Ian and Ian's friend who was go on black, but whatever.
Don't put that on Wrench. That was Kyoruger, moi.
Sometimes my prejudices carry over. And then, like, we were just talking about Snide. Snide was also Yontown.
He didn't get interesting until Beast Morphers, to be honest.
We were kind of already talking about it. Like, you guys were talking about the good parts of Wrench. The other ones I knew kind of were a little bit more popular to be, like, boring. So that's why I kind of picked Wrench, is just because, like, of, like, the main 4 for, like, the first half of Dino Charge, Wrench was the most boring to me. Like, he did stuff, yes, behind the scenes, but, like, I liked Fury a little bit more because he always, like, busted Poisy's chops. And then Snide. So that's, like, one from each part of the season. So we can move on to everybody's number 3.
All right, so my number 3 is Doomwing.
Now you know why they call me Doomwing.
Also same. Do we have the same exact list?
We fucking lined up for this one. Like, oh, all of Lord Arcanon's general looked like they were super fucking boring or something. I do like that he took advantage of being fused with Zenwing and used the Silver Ranger suit to aid in Arcanon's plan. I did like his fight with Tyler, and I'm here for Evil Rangers, especially Silver. Like, he's fine, but it's like his fall from grace was hit hard after he defused from Zenwing. Like, when Curio and Porsandra are laughing at you, you know you suck.
It's kind of the same thing with like Mad Tauren, though. Like, they were both kind of
Yeah, but they stretched this footage out. Like, Matt Tauren was only in one episode. Doomwing is in like 4 episodes. All right, Amber, what's your third?
My third is James Navarro, because it's villainous, because he's so bad at existing. He's my least like villain. I fucking hate this guy.
Tyler needs to be adopted by Albert Smith immediately.
He really
Yes.
does. Honestly and truly, the house boots. Moi moi.
I will sign off on that. We ready to move on to favorite monsters?
Yes, the quick round. Lightning round.
So my number 1 favorite monster is Memorella.
What a sucker! You thought you had the Energems, but Keeper tricked you!
I do like that you use the vampire parts of her, because it's a half baby, half vampire monster in Kyoryuger, so they use the vampire part.
No. Where's the baby? Where's the baby? No.
Are you offended? Are you offended, Austin?
I am. What the fuck? They use every fucking monster on your list that article you made except the baby one.
I need to speak to the manager.
I did like that they use this monster for the Halloween episode because it fits the vibe. It was also smart of them to use her like memory ability because she can like absorb people's memories. And so they use Duplicon, the monster that can clone people, so they turn her into Coda. So she's able to like be Coda, but didn't know that Coda didn't call her Miss Morgan. So it's like, oh, red flag here.
I mean, the immaculate goth vibes. So she's my number 2.
So Austin, what is your number 1 favorite monster?
My number 1 is Puzzler.
Who said life isn't all fun and games?
Because he's literally me. There's a shot where he's like sunbathing with like sunglasses, and it's just the vibes are immaculate.
I do love the scene where he's like just standing out a window and he's watching 2 kids play big chess outside, and he's like,
What? They're still playing? Ha! Amateur move! It's not that complicated. Move the bishop! The bishop! No! So illogical! Who taught you to play? Those are the worst moves I've ever seen! What's wrong? Can't handle the truth?
that's hilarious. Alrighty, Amber, what is your number 1 choice for favorite monster?
Beauty Cruel.
That's my number 3.
She is number 3 on my list.
Legends only. That's the only thing I wrote. Legends only.
I wrote because she's the drag queen Vivix monster, and I was like, I stand.
She's just a thirsty Vivix that just wants one of the Dino Rangers to be her boyfriend, which is valid because they're all hot.
That's a plan that I can stand behind.
But it's also funny because I hated this monster in Kyoryuger, so I was worried that they were going to use them, but I love Beauty Cruel.
I was the number 1 on your list. Like, they're not going to use this one.
There's no way they're going to use a drag queen Vivix.
They're not going to do this with this Vivix, and boy, how does that humble pie taste, Ray?
It tastes bitter, like me. Alrighty, so I think we all have 1 left. So my third is Half Bake.
I've been meaning to speak to you about my job. I want to turn at destroying the Rangers. What?
Why didn't you tell us you were a comedian as well as a chef?
Okay.
AKA a monster from an episode I don't like, but I do like Half Baked because he has baby energy in both look and personality. Like, I love his design. He's like, his little glove, and he's like, oh, little cute little face, and he's got like a little chef's hat when he's making cookies for Heckle. And he's like, I'm a chef, but I want to be more than a chef. And then Heckle's like, okay. Can't even add cinnamon to the cookies. And then when he does fight the Rangers, it's kind of hilarious. X thinks that Erin's the Pink Ranger because she's like parading around like she is the Pink Ranger. And then his plan is to cook her in a crepe, which I love. That's hilarious. Okay, Austin, what is your third choice?
My third choice is Spelldigger, just because he says
vast treasure.
Amber, what is your third choice?
Wish Star.
My wish is your command, and I wish for you all to fall at my feet.
Because a twink. That's it.
Okay.
Am I wrong? I think he's just pretty. I love the whole wishes thing. I thought that was really cute in that episode. And I think it's a pretty monster. I would give it a snoop.
Would you fuck that monster?
You know, if he took me out to dinner, it could be McDonald's. It's fine.
Why did that give me like a game show like vision where it was like, Amber, would you fuck that monster?
That should be a segment for when we review Dino Fury. Like every monster, it's like, would you fuck this monster?
We could swap out monster for robot whenever there's a robot.
Exactly. Fuck this robot. The answer is most likely.
I mean, we all got to share steals.
You know, we all share him. Like, kind of like how we share Ivan, but I get majority custody of Ivan, and you all know it.
Yes.
All right, so let's move on to our least liked monsters. This is going to be fast, because my number one choice is Ninja.
I have Ninja.
At your service.
He's a ninja named Ninja. He's a ninja named Ninja. All right, Awesome, what's your first least liked monster?
My first is Ice Age.
I'll freeze the entire planet, and then I'll pry the energems from their frozen hands.
We saw her every 2 seconds, and
It's like, can you fucking die?
All right, Amber, what is your number one least liked?
I chose Hunter.
My last hunt is over!
She just looks tacky. I don't like that suit. Like, I was looking at pictures and I was like, that's tacky, mama. I don't like it.
On to number 2. So my number 2 is 2 monsters, Conductro and Screech.
Yes, yes! This truly is my masterpiece!
Bitch! Me too!
They're such basic monster designs. They literally are just guys in masks, black and white tuxedos. That is boring. I like their plan of turning people into zombies, but it's like, you are basic monster designs. Get out of here.
My notes are whack ass, ugly ass, Guy Fawkes mask ass wearing dorks.
I just wish they used their monster forms. They use Conductro's monster form for the Halloween monster, Kaskumla, but they never used the Screech one.
why wouldn't they just have those monster forms in that Worg World episode or whatever? It's like they upgrade or something by like getting people to turn into zombies or something. I don't know.
I even remember in Killrager seeing them the first time. I was like, how dare you insult me like this?
And they were around for a few episodes too. They were more than one episode.
I was like, excuse me? Like, did you suddenly get lazy, Toei?
Okay, what about you, Austin? What's your number 2 choice?
My number 2 is Jibo, because Miss Thing was a robot.
Okay, so on to number 3 for me. My number 3 is Smokescreen.
I can fart out some fog so no one can see us.
He is an obnoxious monster. For one, he farts out fog, which I don't get why it's fart fog. He also has an obsession with being in charge. Like, he constantly fights with Wrench on who's in charge of the mission. Like, who gives a fuck? Alright, Austin, what's your number 3 choice?
My number 3 was Ninja.
Amber, what's your number 3 choice?
Scrapper, because they ugly.
I like Scrapper, though. Like, they ugly, but I like...
They ugly.
They're ugly.
So let's move on to favorite quotes. So we'll all just pick all 5 of them at once. We'll just go down a line, and I'll go first. So, number 1 for me is from Kendall from the Power Rangers Dino Charge episode Breaking Black.
And that is why you have me.
Number 2 from Tyler from the Dino Supercharge episode Forgive and Forget.
Who is Ner?
Number 3 from Coda from the Dino Charge episode True Black.
It's so shiny.
Number 4 from Poisandra and Curio from the Dino Supercharge episode Catching Some Rays.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
We push them off their bikes?
And number 5, the most iconic sledge line of all time.
It's a bomb!
Alright, Austin, what are your 5 quotes?
So my first quote is from Riley from World Famous in New Zealand from season 1 when he goes,
Oh, you must be Albert Smith.
Number 2 is also from season 1, Wishing for a Hero from Heckle.
I hope my shades are still in style.
My third quote is from Poisandra from Catching Some Rays from season 2.
Hey guys, we're on vacation too.
My fourth quote is from Kendall from season 1's The Royal Rangers.
That's fine. I'll do it.
And then my last quote is from season 1, Double Ranger, Double Danger from Curio.
You don't know how smart I am!
Alright, Amber, go to your quotes.
I'm surprised none of you whores had this on your list.
'Tis morphing time!
This one, it's like Poison Cure.
Fried my brain! Luckily, I don't have one!
to blanket off of the curio. You don't know how smart I am. Wrench is like,
Of course I do. I built your head from a seat cushion.
and then my fifth one is literally every name anyone calls Poisandra that is not her name.
Heart-shaped nitwit. Walking lollipop? Pink freak. Pink bridezilla. Candy cane. Pinky. You pile of mismatched candy hearts!
So that is our quotes. Alrighty, so let's talk about the overall story of Dino Charge. So for me, Dino Charge is paced well. Everyone gets a backstory for their Energem for the most part. Each Energem after the main 5 gets a good arc to be introduced for the most part. Most of the characters are great except for one. Sledge's crew is amazing. The finale sucks, but what are you gonna do?
Well, first of all, to me, like, Dino Charge is so refreshing because after 4 years of garbage, like, we get Dino Charge and I was like, wait, is this good again? Is Power Rangers good again? What's going on?
Were we all crying? Because I feel like some of us at least teared up.
They let Judd do his thing in the first season. Like, Dino Charge is like, do your thing, Judd. And then after that, like, Ninja Steel was like, okay, we gotta hold you back a little bit.
You know, we've said earlier, too, that, like, you know, the shittiest moments Dino Charge / Dino Supercharge are better than some seasons' best episodes. It kind of feels like with me, because Dino Charge started out so strong and kind of with Super Dino Charge, it feels like it lost its way a little bit kind of around the end there. Like, it's good. I feel like it's not as good as it could have been compared to, like, the beginning. And then that happens with some shows that start out super strong. Sometimes they kind of lose their way a little bit towards the end. This isn't the worst ending I've ever seen, but it's just like because the beginning was so good, I had a higher expectation.
And I had a higher expectation for going into Ninja Steel, too, because Dino Charge was so good, so I expected the same for Ninja Steel.
And Ninja Steel was just trash, mama.
For Dino Charge, it's like, there's some missteps, but it's like, I am so okay with overlooking all of that because I love this season regardless.
The characters are great, the villains are great, the Rangers are great.
When it first came out, we were a little bit more harder on it. That kind of shows that like how good it actually was, because we can look back 5 years later and absolutely love all the stuff we didn't really care about when it first came out.
I think it absolutely holds up.
Yeah, anything that wasn't an A+ at that point was like, this is trash, but then eventually we were like, okay, this is good. I was wrong.
Like Sink or Swim. At the time, you guys were not, from what I remember, is like, it was not a favorite. But like over the years, we're kind of like, okay, actually, it's okay. It's an okay episode. It's a pretty decent episode compared to stuff we had to suffer for the next season. You know, Ninja Steel. Like, that's probably why we've become a Stan podcast.
And I feel like we already answered this. Dino Charge or Dino Supercharge. Dino Charge, because it was paced better, there's less filler, and the finale's better.
That's exactly what I wrote, yep. I feel like they had, 8 Energems by the end of season 1? It's like they didn't really give them that much to work with for season 2.
I feel like they rushed too much into season 1. They could have saved the graphite for season 2, maybe, and then they could have spread it out a little bit more.
Just push that back just a little bit.
As much as I love the episode about that, the graphite Energem just comes out of nowhere, and Prince Philip bonds with it the same episode they find it.
It's like maybe he had to like hold on to it and like wait for the moment where he actually bonds to it. Or
maybe the episode where he finds it, it's like, okay, I'm not ready to be a Ranger yet, but I'll hold on to it until I'm ready.
Or maybe he would give it to Kendall and the team or something to just keep it safe.
So, how it compares to other seasons, it is definitely the best season of the Neo-Saban era, hands down, out of the 4 seasons.
Yeah, right? Not like it has much competition.
Yeah, like, it's the one good season of that era. Man, it's in my top 5 of seasons of all time, because it's just so great. It's just such a good, it makes me feel good when I watch it. It's funny.
It's that serotonin.
It has missteps, I'll believe it. I'm not wearing rose-colored glasses or anything, but it's still fun. I like it.
Oh no, it definitely loses its footing in some spots, but I'm still like, you can absolutely love something, but still be critical of it.
And I totally think it has a lot of heart, which is why we can come back to it.
Jeb put his heart and soul into Dino Charge, that's for sure. That's why we get Dino Charge of characters coming back like in every season, because he likes it that much.
I'll never get over that. Bring it back every season.
This is going to be a little bit bold compared to like other seasons, but I think this is probably some of his best work on the show. I know there's like some really standout stuff from the earlier seasons, but like as a whole, just because like everything was so good, I think this is like one of his strongest seasons.
Besides In Space, like I would agree with that.
He did In Space and Time Force, and those are all good seasons, so it's like after In Space, maybe I'll give it to that.
It's really good. It holds up. Like, it's a joy to watch. The jokes that were funny are still funny.
I will never get tired of having it on. Ever.
I just hope Power Rangers ends up on a different streaming service because as we are recording this is the last day. It is on Netflix, so we're kind of fucked for the time being for watching episodes on Skype together. So hopefully it finds a new home soon so we could rewatch The Tooth Hurts for the 20,000th time.
We're just gonna have to make sure we own it at least.
Well, I own all the seasons on DVD, so...
People ask why I buy physical media. Exhibit A.
We're doing another retrospective in June, so hopefully it'll be on a streaming service by the time we need to review it.
Yeah, let's hope. Because we need to watch it again.
Okay, before we wrap this shit up, let's rate the season 1 out of 10 Energems. So for me, I will rate this 9 out of 10 Energems, and the 1 Energem is James Navarro, so get the fuck out of here, Aqua Energem.
Wow, were you looking at my paper when you copied my answer, Ray?
Okay, Austin, what is your rating out of 1 out of 10 Energems?
I'm gonna give it 8 out of 10 Energems.
Amber?
9 out of 10 because you copied it, because James Navarro.
Sorry.
It's okay, that just means we both have taste.
I'm sure we'll talk about more Dino Charge in the future, like every episode we do. So that is the end of our Dino Charge retrospective. So what did you think of Dino Charge? Did you like it as much as we did? Because we liked it a lot. Tweet us at The Grid PR and share your thoughts on Dino Charge with us. Join us next week for a brand new episode of The Grid. But until then, everybody say bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
This has been a Morphin Legacy production, bitches!